My interest was music. I had no interest in going to school. At the age of 16, I went to the principal's office and I resigned. I then started working full-time in a clothing store that I was doing a part-time job with. I opened my clothing store. I found that I had a built-in clientele. My life savings at that point was $5,000. I put the entire store together with my life savings and by borrowing from merchants that I was doing business with that set me up with credit. My first 3 months in business, I did $300,000, which was unheard of at that time, and I was carrying credit cards. At that time, there was no such thing as Visa, American Express, MasterCard. I was carrying all the paper. At that point, I realized I had to pay all these bills. I was sold out of all the clothing that I got, and I went to my father and asked if he would help me with a loan. He refused to help me. He said, it was your idea to get into business. You got in yourself and you better get out. At that point, I went to a bank and realized it probably would be turned down. And sure enough, they turned me down. I needed $40,000 to continue. The president of the bank was Mrs. Jan Paul. I never forget this as long as I live. She called me at home and said, Paul, would you come into my office tomorrow? I said, sure. She presented me with a personal check of $40,000. She says, Paul, I have so much faith in you. I know you will be successful. To this day, I still remember those words, which really meant a lot for me. I did that for 19 years, working 17, 18 hours a day, but I loved it so much. At that point, I then was getting bored. I was so successful that everything I touched was too easy for me. As a result, I sold the clothing business, which I was told that I was foolish. It was such a good business, but I wanted more challenges in my life. I still had music that I had to push aside, and I got involved I was in Europe, and I saw at a gym, I used to go to the gym at least 4 times a week in those days, and I saw people lying on these coffins and these blue lights coming out, and I said, what are these people doing? And they said, oh, they're getting a tan. I said, getting a tan? They're lying on those beds for over an hour. Yeah, that's right, but it's safe. We designed these things here in Europe. I said, my God, how come they're not in the United States? And they said, oh, your government is impossible to work with. They will only give us a timer that works in 30 minutes, in 1 minute it has to turn off. So this intrigued me. I was supposed to return to New York, and I extended my stay for another week. And I got the company to set me up with opening up the United States. And they said, Paul, if you can do it, God bless you. I had no idea what I was doing, but I bought 1 bed. I had it shipped to the United States. I found a company that I paid them quite a bit of money to get it registered, put it through the FDA, and get the variances changed, which in 1 year it was done. At that point, I had it legal. I tried to sell them. They were impossible to sell. I would tell people that they can lie on these for 1 hour to get a tan because they were very safe. They didn't believe me. So I decided to set up dealerships by giving beds away.
So you're saying tanning beds were like because of you? Here?
I brought tanning beds into the United States. I made them legal. It was a big job, but it was a job well done. I set up dealers all over the United States. And at that point, at one point, we had 6,000 tanning beds, tanning salons all over the world. And it was really a lot of work, but work doesn't bother me. In fact, people said I'm a workaholic and I'm a slave. I said, what? I've never worked a day in my life. I have so much fun. It's not work. Well, that's kind of been the story of my life. I love challenges. If things come to me too easy, I'm not interested. I love the excitement of seeing people work, making money, investing my money wisely, and try not to make too many mistakes. I've had some businesses that didn't take off, and got rid of them right away. The secret to success, if you are in the position to open up a business, if you see it is not making money after 6 months to a year, it's better to just get rid of it, because your first loss is your best loss. One of my most successful businesses, another one, is Lips. It was an idea that came by accident. I opened up a restaurant in New York 23 years ago, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna really make this a fun place to be. I called it Cafe Risque. One night we would have a comedian, another night we would have a musician, and I thought this would work. And on a Sunday, we did a Sunday gospel brunch, and I had men dressed as women performing and serving food. Well, every night was a bomb except Sunday brunch. They were waiting online to come in. There, I said, wow, I think I hit on something. I met this person his name is Mark Vichy. Mark Vichy, better known now as Yvonne LeMay, is a partner of mine in the Lips restaurant. After the success that we had on Bank Street in New York, I then opened up another Lips in California. I took a manager that was working in one of my other businesses, who was a hard worker, and made him a partner in my California operation. Years later, they were both doing well. New York was the first, the next was California, and then I had opened up another location in Florida, which again, one of my managers became a partner, and he opened up with me, Florida. Now we opened up 2 years ago, Atlanta. We're negotiating a deal with Walt Disney. They came to me and said that they heard of the success that Lips has, and they are opening an adult Disney, and they want to be partners with me on the Walt Disney operation. I said, fine.
Can you go through your typical workday and what you do to keep your employees and businesses on track?
Right now, what I do when I get up in the morning, I go to my computer and I check the sales of all my businesses. All the reports are sent to me every night. I can check the success of ideas that we come out with, promote. We do a lot of promotions. All my businesses have some kind of promotion going on every week. This keeps your customers interested and happy. And if you have that working for you, make your customers happy, they will return. Do not take quality out of your merchandise. Keep bringing more and more quality in. People will pay for quality if they're happy and they smile. If you have a customer leave and they don't have a smile on their face, you're doing something wrong. I don't blame the customer. I always like to say, what am I doing wrong? I pass this through my partners and my managers, that every day I'm on the phone with every one of them. Sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from a business of mine that may have a problem. My phone is never turned off. You must keep open communication with all your managers and all your partners, and that's one of the reasons people are successful. It's when you close a door, the business is over.
Are there any special licenses you have or need for your businesses?
Yes, every business has to have a business license, whether it's a nightclub, we need a liquor license. If it's a hotel, we have to have every hotel registered and licensed. So I do have trademarks going. We protect one of my very successful hotels. It's called The Rooftop. I trademarked that name worldwide. The Townhouse, another very successful business. I've trademarked that name worldwide. Lips is trademarked worldwide as well, because even when I'm gone, Lips will be opening all over the world the way things go now. So we protected the name. Every business has a separate corporate name and LLC. If something should go wrong, someone tries to sue us, they can only sue that particular business. Right now, I'm in a lawsuit for $1.5 million. One of my hotels, they did an ad, and the people working on the ad pulled a model off Google. It wasn't there to be, you could taken.
Yeah.
We took it, it was wrong. Fortunately, I'm insured for it, but if I had not been insured, I would have just told them to take the corporate name. And the name that is safe and that everyone knows is the Rooftop. I would just open another corporation the next day. It's like nothing has happened.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I believe in LLCs. You're protected. So this gives you a lot of protection.
Oh.
Each business has its own corporation.